Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. I'm Buddy Cunanan. Tonight's topic is Manila Ocean Park, the country's premier aquatic theme park. And we've said goodbye to Army Cortez and Desliano, who were with Manila Ocean Park. But still joining us is Dr. Ben Vallejo, faculty member, College of Science, UP. He's a stakeholder and partner in Manila Ocean Park's research department and corporate social responsibility programs. And we have another corporate social responsibility ally of Manila Ocean Park here, in the person of Mr. John Chua, advertising photographer and founder of PWD, or Persons with Disability. So, welcome back, Dr. Ben.
Yeah, good evening again.
Good evening again. And of course, John, welcome to Philippines
evening.
Uncut.
Yes.
Now, we've had an introduction earlier. Dr. Ben told us about his work. Let's have your introduction.
Okay, I'm an advertising photographer, and I found my cause. So I put up this PWD. It's photography with a difference. It's a social media based. I ran through this organization through Facebook.
Yes, yeah.
And so far, it's about volunteer tourism. It's inviting photographers all over the country to spend the time, right, to give us, and then we organize events for children with special needs.
Special needs,
Just
yes.
for one day, we had a photo exhibit after the event to create public awareness of what these children are.
Yes, and beautiful play on words. PWD, persons with disabilities, and
photography with a difference.
Very nice, very nice. What got you involved in this advocacy, John?
It started with getting involved with a person with autism.
Yes.
So I saw him and said, with person with autism, they look at that world differently with the normal people. What if they use photography as a means, right? Then it gives us opportunity for normal people to understand how they look at their world.
Yes,
so it turns out this guy, the person, is a good photographer by nature. So I said, if that's the case, why don't I invite him to Manila Ocean Park so he can see all this fish and all that. And that was my start with our working relationship with Manila Ocean Park.
How's it been since you started these programs? How has the reaction of the children been, the parents?
Fantastic, especially with the parents, because our theme there is bonding. So we always invite the parents with the children in this event. So we capture the bonding moments between the kids and the parents. So it's even after the event, they'll be talking maybe for the rest of their lives.
And the effect on these kids of the visual stimuli, really.
Yes.
All these fish, beautiful, marine creatures, must be electric, no?
Yes, they are.
And I think we have some photos which we're going to show.
Yeah.
And these are photos of your actual programs.
Yes.
Not just in Manila Ocean Park, but in other
in other areas. Like this one is the Reach for the Sky. So I had the Philippine Air Force and the Angeles Flying Club. Yeah. So we got children from the different PWD organization, and for one day they flew.
Wow!
Right, and then through Facebook we attached that this is the PWD from Iloilo.
Yes,
so they organize themselves, and then these are the photos taken by individual photographers bonding with the parents, right? So, and it's a one-day event.
And you can see the kids, the special needs kids actually taking photos.
Yes.
And,
some of them we taught them. And then after the event, then we had photo exhibit. Right, and then this create public awareness.
Now, this is in Ocean Park.
This is Ian, my first encounter with children with special needs. So the mother and Ian, I took them to Manila Ocean Park. And for that's memorable.
And fantastic photos.
Yes,
and what's this? This is part of the flying.
Yes,
the flying activity.
Yes.
Again, this is the tunnel where you.
The tunnel. I love the tunnel from Manila. That's the
kids must love this.
Yeah, of course, they stayed. This is the Philippine Philippine Society for Orphan Disorder.
I hope that Manila Ocean Park is also planning like overnight stays, because overseas in the aquariums they do have, for kids, they camp out and they spend the night in the aquarium.
I think it's gonna be difficult for children with special needs, because they have about 3 or 4 hours attention span.
Yes.
Then after that, they get restless or
they need
anything.
to do something else.
Yes, they need to do something
But
else.
okay, let's talk about CSR. So this is an incredible advocacy that you've initiated.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask Dr. Ben here. A lot of critics of Manila Ocean Park have been saying that this is an unreal, unhealthy environment for the animals. That it's not they're stressed, and it's cruelty because they're confined in one place. These are people who are really anti, keeping let's say animals in places like this. What is your take on that?
Well, anyway, it's really a matter of opinion, so people have the rights to express their opinion on the matter. But of course, it's really true that we really can't recreate nature in captivity. But of course, we can give our animals the requirements that they could be able to live in captivity for a reasonable length of time, and that is close to their natural lifespan. In fact, in many cases, the lifespan in captivity would be just as long as if it were in the wild.
Yes.
Or it could be even a little bit longer because of the care that's provided. So anyway, I frame this whole issue, whether it's cruelty or not, is personally because I do keep fish at home, okay? Because I'm an aquarist too, and my family is a pet-loving family. Of course, if we have pets, we do not wish that the pets would be kept in cruel conditions. So I think if people would give anybody who keeps animals that benefit, that the people who keep animals to keep them in the best conditions without being cruel, I think that should be okay.
What about critics who say that the animals are made to do things that are not natural to them? Let's say in these theme parks, or for instance, it causes them stress when they do these things. What kind of care are you guys doing to ensure that animals really are not stressed, or it's not suffering in any way?
Well, of course, in these cases, even overseas, yeah. Well, of course, there's really a basis for that criticism, because when oceanariums were first set up, I think it was in England and in America, the dolphins were made to do all sorts of things which are not really part of their natural behavior. But now, in the last few years, there has been an attempt that it's only the natural behaviors that are shown, and those natural behaviors are exactly what they'll do in the wild.
Yes, yes.
So, for example, in Shed Aquarium in Chicago, they don't make the whales jump anymore.
Yeah,
So
it's changing as well.
Yeah,
I mean, the parks themselves are changing the way
Well, of
they
course,
are
when
managing the animals.
the point is this: if the animals were not kept in captivity and given the care, then we would not know that behavior.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alam mo,
Like
Jamie,
me, right?
yes,
Yeah.
please.
Recently, I had an advocacy about the Bajaus. They are displaced tribes from Zamboanga. So they settled in Lucena. What we did was to get Bajau student, to come over to Manila Ocean Park. And the first time they saw,
Yung mga Bajau, I mean, these Bajaus are supposed to
they're
be
supposed to be
by the sea.
Oh,
They're
but they're
seafaring
not there
folk.
anymore. And
Yes.
these children had grown up away from Zamboanga already. So when we brought them to the tunnel, right? They look at this how,
Lovely, lovely.
And I beg to disagree. I think Oceanarium is there, right? So they can teach the student, the people, about the fishes.
Yes,
So
yes.
so then they learn more about them, and then they can start caring for them.
I guess that's also one of the critiques being given by some groups,
Yeah.
saying that the animals are there for an entertainment value only. There's no educational component. But as we see from you guys, you do have an education
Yeah,
component.
there is. And
right?
also, I'd like to add that it's human nature, it's part of people's nature to be close to animals. So an oceanarium is just one way for a bigger group of people to be close to animals as much as they could be close. So, for example, I wouldn't say anyone but you should not keep a dog or a cat if that's good for a person. So probably it should be okay. Yeah.
Yes. And in your experience with your group,
Yes.
because we're talking about creating awareness of this advocacy, of care for the environment and for marine animals. What has been the effect on your group? Because you have photographers, you have parents, you've got children with special needs. I'm sure
Yes.
now that they're more enlightened, their eyes are more open to what is out there and the needs
Yeah,
that they require to for care.
yeah, they do. The point right now is that, you know, when they see this, right, it's different when you look through the books, right? Now they see this and then they sort, right after that, then I asked them to draw. And they could draw and they would always, you know, they would always tell their friends about it. So it creates more interest, and another group would like to come in and feel the same experience. Right?
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. Are you planning any more activities with your group at Manila Ocean Park? What other new activity are you planning for, let's say, next year?
Right now, I'm watching, there's a group of children from the squatter area, and they like to learn. So they use our parking lot, right? And they start drawing and they start learning on their own, right? So I figured maybe this would be a good chance for them to see Manila Ocean Park, right? So these are the things that it's in the line, and then we'd probably have more children with special needs to come in. And I'll work closely with DES
Yes,
in
yes.
regarding this
I would love
project.
to see a photo exhibit of your kids at, you know, I mean, the photos that they took in Manila Ocean Park. That would be lovely. Are you
Yes,
planning anything
yeah,
like that soon?
in the near future, we'll do that. As soon as we can compile the best images, then I would request Manila Ocean Park to put up a photo exhibit.
Excellent. Kaya naman, Dr. Ben, aside from the your you know, the corporate social responsibility programs, you also mentioned earlier in the first segment that you are very much involved in the rescue of Manila Bay with, of course, MOP, Manila Ocean Park.
Well, yeah, well, we can put it that way, rescue.
The rescue for sure. How far gone is Manila Bay? Is it too late to
Well,
save Manila Bay?
let me just I've been doing research on the bay for more, even before Ocean Park was there. So when Ocean Park, Manila Ocean Park decided to put their facility, so I asked Mr. Lim, who's the president, CEO, that would be a nice idea because that would provide the scientists a convenient platform to study Manila Bay. Because before, you have to take a boat,
Yes, yes.
and it's difficult to access the bay. You have to go to the port.
Here you have
yeah.
all the facilities
Yeah.
on site in one
Yeah,
place.
and aside from that, Ocean Park has the equipment to monitor water quality, which they actually have to do as part of the operations, and also as part of the reporting requirements that they have with the DENR and the Bureau of Fisheries.
Yeah.
So anyway, Manila Bay isn't dead. Okay, I have to emphasize that it's
It
not
looks
dead.
It looks dead, but
Okay.
it's not dead.
It's not that because even until today, there are a lot of people who depend on it for their livelihood. You don't need to go very far. If you go to Baywalk and watch the sunset, chances are you'll see a fisherman doing his trade. Okay. The problem that we have is the bay has a lot of human impact.
You're talking about the waste coming from Metro Manila.
waste,
Garbage,
waste, the sewage
maybe,
problem, and of course the effect of trade. Because remember, that's a port. We
Yes,
cannot,
yes.
the economy cannot do without the port.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
so we need to manage these human activities on the bay. So my research with the Manila Ocean Park is actually to find out how we can manage our human activities with the bay, because we can't say, oh, let's ban all people from Manila Bay. That's ridiculous.
It's not possible. It has to be really a
Yeah,
comprehensive, holistic approach
Yeah.
to this problem.
And we have to be a little bit longer in our view on how to save Manila Bay. Of course, cleaning up the garbage is good, but of course, it wouldn't end there. We should stop throwing garbage. That's one. Then, of course, the water quality. We should treat our effluent water if we're going to really clean up the bay. And also, if it's possible with our development projects along the bay, if we can at least restore some of the natural habitat. It's the most important.
Yes, yes. Now,
Yeah.
the water in your aquariums, does it come from Manila Bay?
Oh, the Ocean Park
Yeah.
Aquarium.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. 100%.
But I'm sure you treated before. I hope you treated before you put the fish in there. I'm sure you do. No?
Yeah, part of the design of the Oceanarium is really to put a very good treatment facility.
Okay. All right.
And one of the reasons why the water quality of the immediate environment has to be monitored is to make sure that enough treatment is being used to clean up the water. And the Manila Ocean Park really spends a lot of money in treating the water. Yeah.
Yes. And you said you monitor the water quality, and this is done on a daily basis. What other, I mean, like,
Yeah, it's done on a
you have
daily
a team
basis. Yeah.
that really monitors
Yeah,
the water conditions.
The curatorial department does it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Because that's really critical.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. How important is it that we try to save Manila Bay?
Well, first of all, the city won't be called Manila if there was no bay. And that's the first thing.
Yes.
And secondly, the city was named after the Maynilad mangrove shrub. Okay?
Which is gone now. You,
Okay,
you don't see
I just like to tell our audience that there are more Maynilad plants in Singapore than in Manila. Okay, because in Singapore they're using it to remediate the environment. Singapore went in this development of their coastal area,
Yep.
and the government now of Singapore finds it's necessary that they should restore
Mangroves.
the mangrove around
Because
Singapore.
mangroves are important, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's a fish breeding area. It's great for filtration.
Yeah, it also protects
Protection
the
against
yeah,
tsunamis and
storm
storms and
surge,
things like
yeah.
storm surge, right? So it's an incredible
So one of
thing.
my colleagues there is involved in one of my classmates at the PhD program in Australia is involved in the rehabilitation of the coastal reclamation areas.
Yeah.
And she's using my nilad plant. So she told me when I went there for a visit, stopover last year, that maybe we should rename Singapore as Manila
Because
there
they have more
Maynilad.
Maynilad.
So going back to this Maynilad plant, Mayor Erap Estrada suggested that if Ocean Park can bring back the Nilad plant to Manila, which is a nice idea. But first, of course, we just can't plant
Is
it
it
there.
feasible? Is it feasible?
It is, but
still?
we have to do a bit more to improve the environment, just like what the Singaporeans did.
Yes, yes. What other programs in Ocean Park are you? I mean, do you have an educational program at MOP to let's say help educate and increase awareness of this need to save the mangroves, to propagate mangroves? Do you have that kind of
Yeah, that's really part
program?
of the CSR,
Yeah.
and I think nobody gets out of Ocean Park without that message,
Yes.
especially for school tour groups, which come in on a regular basis. And for college students, especially the biology majors, in which they are required to come up with a thesis research for graduation, Manila Ocean Park is actually giving research grants to the best students.
Really?
Yeah, in a year, about 3
Wow.
students get the grants for their thesis. And
Nice.
in the past, we have had students from Adamson University, also from UP Manila, and from LaSalle.
Yes,
All
yes.
these universities along Manila Bay.
Yes, yes.
And they're
Excellent,
they're
excellent,
working on Manila
excellent.
Bay environment really.
Yes, yes.
And it's a great contribution to scientific contribution. Also brings out the message that the bay is alive.
Yes, and so
Yeah.
again, it goes back to awareness, to education,
Yeah.
because we all live by the bay,
Yeah.
and yet some few people here have awareness of what's going on. It's actually pretty close to where we all live, So the awareness is not there, but through institutions like Manila Ocean Park, and of course allies like you guys in the private sector and public sector, you from UP,
Yeah.
This can be helped. This lack of awareness and lack of information on our part. So this is excellent work what you're doing. John, how about in your case, did Manila Ocean Park tailor-make some sort of educational program for your kids?
Yeah, what we did is we collaborate, and they did their part, and what I do is to come up and organize these kids for the event.
Yes. Are there is there an experiential component to your PWDs when they visit the park? Like, are they allowed to, are they given a chance to interact with some of the animals, some sort of close encounter, so to speak?
Yeah, they did, especially with the sharks and fins.
How was that?
Yes.
How was that? What was that like?
The parents are more scared than the
Than the
kids,
kids.
right? Because they have no fear,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
they enjoy it.
And the interest is there. It's
Yes.
just something that really is a fun thing for them. Now, Dr. Ben, when kids interact with animals like that, is there any harm to the animals, or I mean, is there any consequence, untoward consequence, perhaps, to the animal? No.
Well, first of
Through
all,
interactions
yeah.
like that.
First of all, people should be briefed.
Orientation.
Animals will respond. If we hurt animals, they really bite.
Sure.
Yeah. So that has to be made clear. Even if your dog, if you mistreat your
If you
dog,
step on the foot of the
yeah, or you
dog,
step on
no,
your
it's
cat.
instinct.
Yeah. So people would have to be briefed really, and it is also a way of getting to know the animal. So if the animal feels uncomfortable with your attention, you probably have to back off a while, and eventually animals would react back to you. Yeah.
But all these encounters
Yeah.
you have in Ocean Park, Middle Ocean Park, they're all supervised.
Yeah, they're all supervised.
You have trained personnel on site to make sure that it's an enjoyable experience for all parties, including the animals.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
They
great.
give orientation.
Yes, yes.
They instruct the kids how to handle the animals.
And in terms of therapy, animal encounters in therapy is a proven thing.
It's a proven.
It has really, there's a feel-good factor. It boosts optimism. It makes just the happy feeling,
And
prominent.
they feel special.
And they feel special.
Yeah,
Yes,
because not everybody can do it. Right?
Yes, of
So-
course. Now, we have 2 minutes to close. Let's talk about future plans, starting with John for your group.
Well, one, I heard about what you said about senior citizens working. I think
There you go.
I'm
There you go.
close.
Perfect.
First volunteer. I'll do that.
Because,
do that.
Yeah, I was telling Army earlier, when I go overseas, I go to museum, it's seniors. And, seniors are nice because they command a certain respect. People, there's an
And they do it
authority.
with passion,
And they do it
right?
with passion. It's
Yes.
like, it's like passing on to the next generation.
Okay,
Lovely.
yeah.
So
I'll be the first one to
let's
volunteer.
bug Army about that.
Yeah,
the
okay,
senior
we'll do that.
tourist, volunteer seniors for Manila Ocean Park.
Yes.
Okay,
yes, yeah.
continue.
And of course, we'll be looking forward to another set of PWDs to come in and experience this rare moment.
What's your timeline for the PWD trip for the next one? Because I would like to join and maybe document that for our show.
Maybe what we can do is we can work
Yes.
together,
Yes.
and for your
Let me know.
other events, right?
Yes.
We can expand this PWD in the country. in
Yes,
Georgia.
and we have common friend Tony
Yes.
Pasha of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Down Syndrome
Down Syndrome. Yeah,
Society.
they're very active.
I've
Yeah.
helped them out as well. They've been on
Yes.
the show. Very nice people, excellent people. They are warriors. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, John, and congratulations on your success with your group, and more power to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Doc, finally for you.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a plug, okay?
Sure. Go for it.
Well, we're planning really to come up with a Manila Bay meeting or conference next year. Manila Ocean Park with a major partner, and of course the city of Manila, and it's just to tell people that the Bay is alive. So make sure that Metro Manila appreciates what the Bay is for. Okay? That's the main thing.
Yes.
And we're inviting all students, teachers, kids, and everyone to attend. It will be the announcement will be probably be out early next year. It will be within 2015.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Quickly, before we go,
Yeah.
how can people get in touch with your group, John, PWD, for people who want
Facebook.
to help? Facebook.
We have a Facebook page, Photography with the Difference.
Photography with the Friends.
Yeah.
And for your group, Dr. Ben, how do people contact you?
Well, I have my I can be contacted through the Ocean Park
So they
site.
can, they can call Ocean
Yeah,
Park
yeah.
and be connected to your office or
Yeah,
give a message with your
yeah,
staff there,
yeah.
all that. Excellent. John, thank you very much. And Dr. Ben, thank
Yeah,
you very
thank you
much.
again,
And I
yeah.
hope to see you again soon. And as we cover all these advocacies and
Yeah.
something very interesting for all our viewers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed a lot tonight with our talk about Manila Ocean Park. Join us again next week here in the show where we talk about what matters to you guys because you guys matter the most. See you next week.